The risk of death was 11%. Nevertheless, I gave birth to a healthy child. But there was a moment when I was already writing a farewell letter. I was afraid that my husband would be left alone with his daughters, says Eva, who has been suffering from cardiomyopathy for 3 years. Nevertheless, she managed to carry the pregnancy to 37 weeks. Today, he has better test results than before his son was born. Eva suffers from a genetic disease, which she was diagnosed with in 2019. She is the mother of 2 daughters. So the third pregnancy was a surprise and a considerable challenge for her gynecologist. In Warsaw, I met excellent doctors who gave me hope that we would come out of this unscathed. Me and Jan, says the 34-year-old. As a person suffering from hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, she wore a defibrillation vest throughout her pregnancy. However, she only took it to the bath. She slept sitting up because it was the only position she could breathe freely. I know I am sick, and the disease will return someday. But I do not regret the decision to have a third pregnancy. Today I have 3 reasons to live. Julia, Maha, and Jan, says the young mother. The National Institute of Cardiology in Annan is a place that gave Eva back hope that she would stay with her mother for the 3rd time. In 2019, she was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy. This is a group of diseases related to the structure and function of the heart muscle. In her family, her mother and younger sister were also affected. She gave birth to 2 daughters a few years ago, Julia and Maha. The pregnancies proceeded without complications. It was different with Jan. Every month, it could get worse. In May 2021, Eva discovered she was pregnant with her 3rd child. It was a surprise. She and her husband were not planning another child. A few months before taking the pregnancy test, her health deteriorated. She was treated at the National Institute of Cardiology in Annan. No wonder her gynecologist didn't react optimistically to the news of her pregnancy. I can terminate your pregnancy but not lead it if you do not provide me with a certificate from a cardiologist. I heard from him over the phone. The baby she was carrying under her heart at the time was only 4 weeks old. Eva immediately put herself in the hands of specialists from Annan. On the spot, the doctors decided he had to stay in the hospital for 10 days. They did a lot of research on her. The risk of sudden death in a patient, according to the HCM risk SCD calculator, is 11%. She heard on the spot pregnant. Doctors discussed the preventive implantation of a cardioverter defibrillator. However, due to the pregnancy, it was determined that the optimal solution would be to wear a defibrillation vest until delivery. Since June, Eva has not parted with her. She only took it to the bath. She slept sitting up because it was the only position she could breathe freely. For her husband, it was all a shock. Our friends and family supported us. At the same time, they asked us, mainly me, to consider the risks. This pregnancy was life-threatening. And yet I had something to live for, Eva tells me. She knew that her husband was afraid of losing her. Suggestions from various people made abortion cross my mind. But I knew I would never do it anyway, remembers the 34-year-old. Sometimes she had dark thoughts. There was a moment when I was already writing a farewell letter in my mind. I was afraid that my husband would be left alone with his daughters. In the end, I didn't write it. Instead, I prepared a paper with information about the life insurance policy. My friend was supposed to give it to him just in case. Tells. 2,700 grams of happiness. Her gynecologist said it could get worse every month. Meanwhile, doctors from the National Institute of Cardiology in Annan gave her hope. She was under the constant care of the best specialists from Poland. She went every few weeks for a checkup. She passed COVID-19. She persevered until the 37th week of pregnancy. The delivery took place under complete anesthesia. One of the 3 anesthesiologists in the operating room joked before the C-section that she should pray. But I knew everything would be okay. I remember crying when I woke up. I called my husband that he was alive. And then I cradled 2,700 grams of happiness in my arms, says Eva, who gave birth to Jan on January 5th. Her little miracle measured 51 centimeters. The strangest thing about this story is that my health improved significantly after pregnancy. I was out of breath 2 years ago when I climbed to the 2nd floor. My heart hurts less today. I also have better test results. Eve is proud. The currently calculated 5-year risk of sudden death, according to the HCM Risk SCD calculator, is not 11%. And 3.65%. Sometimes it's worth trusting destiny. Nothing happens without reason. I took a chance, and I have a son. My husband and I dreamed of a boy, and the girls of a brother, adds the young mother. Today John is 4 months old. It develops healthily. The moment you hold your long-awaited baby compensates for all the stress you went through during pregnancy. However, suppose you decide to get pregnant while being chronically ill. In that case, you must find a hopeless case doctor and trust him completely, says the young mother. Eva is still under the care of a cardiologist. I know I am sick, and the disease will return someday. But I'm happy with what life has given me. Really, I feel with my whole body, not just my heart, that I'm alive. I don't regret my 3rd pregnancy. I have 3 reasons to live today: Julia, Maha, and Jan. I am fulfilled, says Happy Mom.